Welcome back to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really looking forward to talking comics with you, as always. Of course, this is our weekly comic book review show where we get together every week, have a couple beers. We talk about the things that we've read every week. We give you our thoughts, ratings, reviews, all this kind of stuff. Show off some of the artwork. Talk about comics in general, the business of things, Chris. I know sometimes some comics news trickles onto the show. So, Chris could tell you about the most recent episodes of Robservation. All kinds of good stuff here on Comic Shop Talk, our weekly comic book show. And you can check us out here every week and check out some of the other stuff that we have here in our playlists on the Late Night Chat Network, all kinds of other movie coverage and all kinds of other things here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit that like button, the thumbs up, subscribe, hit us with a comment. This week we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of July 9th, 2025. And spoiler warning, the books could get spoiled because we are going to talk about what happens in them to give you our thoughts on the books. So if you're worried about that, you can read your books and then come back and check us out. We have a whole playlist here. And I've recently started to go back and actually update all the notes, which I've just been slacking on in the actual descriptions of the videos. So I'm not going to do the whole timestamp business because that's a lot of work to be able to do that. But I will mention which comics are talked about on every episode. So that's going to be like that on all of our episodes soon. I'm just starting to work on that right now. So if you ever wanted to go back and or if you missed the episode, you want to hear what comics we talked about, you just go to the description of the video and it'll tell you what comics we talked about. And then basically the easiest way to doing it, since we don't have timestamps, bless you, is that you can look across the bottom here. You can kind of if you just want to hear what we have to say about something and jump through the video. I mean, I think you should watch the whole thing, but if you just want to jump through the video and hear what we had to say about certain things, you can always see kind of what we're talking about scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. So check the notes, see what we talked about, and then you can check it out that way. So yeah, just a little kind of note to all the viewers out there, because I will be trying to update all of the videos and it'll be like that moving forward. So enough slacking off, Chris. I mean, we got you're kind enough to join me every week and talk about these comics. It needs to be documented, my friend. It has to be on. It'll make it easier at the end of the year when we talk about what we've read.
Take what you give them, Niko.
All those millions of viewers out there.
Millions.
All right. Anyways, that all being said, Chris.
All right. Well, let's talk comics.
Talk some comics. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. That feels good after a nice day at work there, that beer. Do you like Guinness? I have a friend who really has gotten into drinking Guinness lately. I feel it's like a meal. It's a heavy-ass beer, man.
A heavy beer. I might have had one or two in my time, but
yeah,
I don't go out of my way to drink them.
Yeah. No, me neither. People like them. So, all right, first up on the docket here today, we got Fantastic Four #1. That's just relaunched from issue 33 randomly. Just because I guess they got a new movie in theaters a couple weeks from now. And this is basically Ryan North continuing his run on Fantastic Four. Like nothing has, happened from issue to issue. It's just, it feels like a direct continuation. But what do you think of this, Chris?
Well, before I read this comic, I heard there's all this controversy about Sue Storm calling herself the leader of the Fantastic Four. And I was expecting there's some big, hoo-ha about it. But basically, it's just a freaking little word there lined up while she's kind of describing the whole team.
Clickbait.
And I can see how... Pardon me?
It was probably just some clickbait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is this?
Yeah, everybody's outraged and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. But it was nothing. And anyways, I can kind of... I don't know why they had to do this at a #1, but, it's basically a reintroduction of the Fantastic Four, I guess, hopefully from all the new fans that are going to cross over from watching the movie that's coming out. I don't know why they bother wasting their time, but anyways, we'll see. And I guess they decide to fight Doom again, and Doom's got a special plan for him. I think he gives him trouble. He goes, "What are you keeping on attacking me for? You know, I mean, you two, all you guys do is just egg each other on to come get me, and I'll show you." And then he splits them up and sends them to all different time zones. I guess Johnny Storm is like near the beginning of the Earth where there's not much oxygen in the atmosphere. But the Thing goes into some dinosaur era. Mr. Fantastic is where was he, like in some Victorian era or something like that. And then Sue Storm was, I guess, in the far future where the sun's almost dying out. And I guess what's sort of drawing them together is they've all had some sort of, or Reed had some sort of contingency plan for this. What was that? There's a stone there or something, the summoning stone or something like that. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, I can't see it on the screen right now, but yeah, you got it. It is that stone basically that's they all have to find throughout time.
Yeah, they kind of find the stone, they'll put the time that they're there, and then sort of whoever's around, I guess since they've conquered time travel, they can come back and pick everybody up and get the team back together. And it seems that they've run into some snags because in Sue's world, I guess that time stone or the summoning stone is no more. So she's looking like she's stuck in the future. And it seems like if she can't save them, then they're all destined to die. And
Forever Stone
from there.
It's called the
Forever Stone, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we got what's his name on art on this one here?
Ramos?
Yeah. Humberto Ramos. I love. I some people don't like his style. It is cartoony, but I really like his art, and I thought this was great to have him. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to be on this book, but as long as he's on this book, I think the book is improved just by having him on the title. Not that the artists have been bad on Ryan North's run, but I feel like the art has been pretty generic. This guy is definitely a little bit more stylized, his art style, I would say. And for years on Dan Slott's Spider-Man, he was one of the main artists. So I've been a fan of his since I got back into comics and started reading Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man. So really, I think he's a good fit for the Fantastic Four for that matter. This is just a great classic kind of Fantastic Four story where they're all kind of, like you said, they're separated. And, obviously when they're not able to work together, they're all weaker as a result and they all work better together. And, I just think as an idea, him having this, like you said, the contingency plan of this stone in case this ever happened to them, I thought was kind of like a really cool idea as well. This just felt like a very good classic Fantastic Four story. That's the best thing I can say about this. And I think for number one, it's fine. But, it like I said, it just feels like another day in the Ryan North run. Yeah.
There's nothing special about this to give this reboot a reason to happen,
Well, you had mentioned it earlier. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is that literally on the same day of these coming out, they had this and they had a tie-in to the version of the Fantastic Four made to look like the characters from the movie called Fantastic Four First Steps that also came out on the same day as this number one, written by Matt Fraction. So it's like they brought Matt Fraction back to do that, which I thought was interesting. It's not like they just put some like no-name guy on the book. And then, it's like, I guess the movie adaptation comic. And apparently in the comic, it spoils. I read this online, like who's going to be playing the Mole Man in the movie or something like that. So like, because the character's made to look like the actor.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of figure out who's playing the Mole Man or even kind of what's going to be happening in the movie because you have the adaptation out before the movie. That's crazy.
Which is why I don't really read these things normally. Like I get that if they wanted to make this an extension of the film after the film came out.
Yeah, you got to freaking time this a bit better.
Why would this come out the same day as the relaunch of number one and overshadow Ryan North's run, which actually has been quite good? And like, you know what I mean? Like that's so stupid. I don't understand why they chose to do that. I just kind of that's a little gripe I had about it. I was just like, when I was looking at the solicits, I'm like, why would they put this out at the same fucking time as it? Anyways, but what do you think of this though? Rating?
Yeah, like I said, it's a fun story, kept me entertained, and I'd give it a 3.75.
I'd go as high as a 4. I thought this was good. This is a solid issue. I felt. Actually, very quickly though, since we're reminded about comic book gripes, so quickly wanted to mention something. So I wanted to mention last episode, me and Chris talked about Captain America #1. Speaking of #1s by Zdarsky. Now on the show, I think we were both a little confused. Neither of us kind of felt like knew where the book took place. And I get where the confusion kind of came from because I saw the headlines and I was talking about it with a friend of mine who read it as well, a comic book reader.
Yeah.
And he was just like, what the hell? He's like, so are they just basically changing the time that he came out of the ice? So this book is
what it sounds like.
This is a post 9/11 Cap coming out of the ice book. So that's why me and Chris last episode were a little confused because I'm like, well, he was coming out of the ice. So I assumed it was in the past.
I assumed it was in the 40s again or something, or the 60s.
Right. But then we were like, but then Chris was like, yeah, but some of this took place in the present day. So then I was really thrown off by like, we both were like, we were reviewing the book and we're like, I don't know. Like he thought I was right. And then I thought he was right. So I'm like, I don't know, to be honest. So he's retconning the time that Cap came out of the ice.
Big.
I don't know about that. That's kind of weird, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, listen, I'm still on board for it. I'm interested to see what he did, but he's basically retconning it to like match like the movies in a sense now. Like he's saying that, yeah, he's basically the movies. Like because
he was brought out in the 90s or something.
I don't think the rest of the universe though is been
in sync with that.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bugs me about it. Is that I don't think everybody's moving to that same kind of
like it's almost like an Elseworld, because then there's this new Captain America that they're bringing.
Right,
he would have been around in the 80s and 90s, and all the other heroes would have had some sort of interaction with them. So I don't know. Anyways, well, I guess maybe that'll be all revealed to itself in the Captain America series.
I just figured it was worth mentioning because last episode, like we weren't really sure of it, and I felt like for anybody who was interested, that was like making the headlines. Is that's when this takes place, and I don't know how I feel about that decision now, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We both like the issue regardless, but it's just that kind of changes things in terms of timelines sakes, right?
Yeah, so that's a big change.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's Captain America. If you want to hear what we had to say about it, go back and check out last week's episode. Next up, we got Marvel Swimsuit Special Heroes, Rivals, and Foes. I believe this one's called. Friends, Foes, and Rivals.
Yeah.
And I got the Mark Brooks cut. Where you didn't get one, Chris?
I got some problems with my LCS.
Okay. We can talk later about that one. But this one's the double page spread here. Yeah, it's a good one for sure. So, what'd you think of this, Chris?
Well, I was surprised that I read that it was written by, is it Tony Seeley or Flex and Seeley, right?
Yeah, Tony Fleece and Tim Seeley, local man. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was happy to see that he wrote that stuff. And, he's kind of they're getting some action here in the Marvel world. Hopefully they get more. But for this, whatever, the swimsuit issue or whatever they want to call it, I was expecting more to be like the original ones that were like a Sports Illustrated issue where, they just had kind of dumb articles and stuff. Here they have a story running through it, which, it touches on some sore notes that are going on in the world right now of comics and things like that. And then, dispersed in between there's some pinups. And the pinups as well, there were some good ones, I'll give them that. But I didn't find that there are too many iconic sort of, images there that were like, wow, that blow you away. I look back on that one that I had from the 90s there, like a lot of more bangers. These one had a few, but a lot of them were sort of dud. So it didn't, maybe I was expecting too much from it. But the story that was running through it was, it was reasonable. Kind of running there, running up on all these other heroes to try and make their own swimsuit issue because Roxxon sort of used AI generated images of them to do that. I don't know why. But
let's call it what it is, Chris. This comic's woke. They held back. they held back on the images. This is ridiculous. I want some more TNA, guys. What the fuck? What'd you think of the Nick Bradshaw art on this? I love Nick Bradshaw, as you know, but I don't feel like he was the right artist for this issue either, to be honest. Yeah.
I didn't notice the arts like that was like there. That's a good one though.
Yeah, Mahmoud.
That was one of my favorite ones there.
My boy, Mahmoud. That's right.
But yeah, a lot of them are just freaking duds.
Yeah, I agree though. There is some duds. I do appreciate that they tried to do a bit of a story. I understand. I actually thought it was a good matchup, like you said, to bring Tony Fleece and Tim Seeley to write this, because I guess in their idea of like maybe why they brought them on to do this is because they were the 90s, like they did Local Man. They even kind of touched on like, a lot of this extreme era type stuff in Local Man, like with some of the backups of like, you know what I mean? So I feel like they were probably fans of the swimsuit stuff. They even actually did have like a swimsuit thing in Local Man, didn't they? At one point, I think they made references
to the Bad Girls or something.
That's it, Bad Girls Special. Yeah. So they, they were fans of this era, but there were some funny ones. But yeah, I feel like some of they could have used a bit more of a couple of more sexier, maybe cheesecake type of images in here. And and even the interior artists, like me, I love Nick Bradshaw, and I think it looked great, and I appreciated the story. But I just think that they could have used maybe like a different type of artist would have been better suited for this personally. But it is what it is. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, like I said, if I don't get my copy, I'm not going to be too upset. After I was upset I didn't get it when I went to the store, and then when I read it, okay, well, I don't have to rush out to get this. I don't think this is going to be climbing or falling off the shelves.
This part was my favorite. He's like, I'm bringing it out again. I never thought I'd use this again.
Well, I was surprised that they used the Punisher as like the Punisher, like, the normal Punisher guy. It's like,
oh, he's coming back.
I haven't heard anything about this guy in ages, and he just shows up in the swimsuit issue.
Right.
Like nothing's going on.
He's coming back in September. So, I mean, but maybe they should have threw in a line of just got back from Weird World and now I'm posing for for these nudie bags or whatever. This swimsuit.
Got my big skull dong here from the netherworlds, the nether regions.
But then the worst part about it was they had that scene and then they didn't give you a pinup of him. They only showed you like him like that in the Rivals section. Which, whatever. I'm not. I guess I am kind of mad at it because I was just like,
well, yeah, you can't tease a Punisher thong and not put it out there.
Yeah, it's just weird because they literally had the scene where he's talking about it, and then they don't give you a pinup of it, and then you see him in the back, and they do some like Marvel Rivals ones, right? But
yeah, and these are just old covers. Come on.
Yeah, and they had the Adam Hughes cover that he basically like not even a new interior pinup. He did the cover, I guess, for this book, but that's about it. Like because
I just want to use covers. I can go through my collection and get some better pinups that was here.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one from the She-Hulk.
Yeah, the She-Hulk one, yeah.
Right? You have the foil of that, I believe, right? Yeah, so. Yeah, I think that was your cover of the year or something, I feel like a year or two ago, that She-Hulk one.
That's
so,
cover of the day, that's for sure.
Anyways, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
So there's the Rivals design. Apparently, I guess he's in Marvel Rivals in this getup. So there you go. The Punisher's back. He's wearing thongs. That there is that classic image of that though from the old swimsuit issues. I've seen that before. That is a funny one. So, anyways, all right, Chris, what'd you give this?
Yeah, that's a 3.25, 3.5. The story was okay. We had some beats inside there, but no beats for me. That's for sure.
Yeah, 3.5 for me as well. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Is that the Punisher calling?
Yeah. Apparently, my audio from the phone is just going through the computer. Hey, I heard what you had to say about me in Marvel swimsuit.
Is that Rob?
I just want to let you know I'm coming back in September.
Come back in September. It's going to be great.
Oh, man. Okay, next up we got Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, which I read the first miniseries of, and I forgot to read it in time for the show here, but Chris read it. So I
heard a lot of good things about this stuff, so I had to give it a read.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no context. I don't know if this is a continuation of a story or what's going on, but man alive, that first page right off the bat, they talk about the duck that's been missing for 8 years, and they just show them all chopped up in little pieces. That definitely grabs your attention. And then it moves on, I guess, to his sister that's been searching for him for like the last 8 years, and it kind of just goes through all the stuff that she's been going through. She's going to like sort of every police station in town. she's been posting on, kind of all these weird websites and going to all these corners. And I think near the end, someone kind of leaves a message, just, check this city. I think it's like Woodbury or something like that. And then she makes it there, and then, talks to the police there. And it seems like they have his jacket, but they still can't sort of ID him because there's no pieces. And then she gets upset about that they're not trying anything. And then the person that sort of gave her the message just jumps in her car. And it seems like that perhaps that person that gave her the message might be the serial killer. Because in the beginning, you see sort of a bear around there, and then it's a bear here. And on the cover, it's a bear that's doing this. So I don't know if the serial killer has been revealed in the first series.
It was, yeah. The bear was the killer.
It's that bear. So I guess she doesn't know it's the bear, and that bear might be leading her on a goose chase, and she could be another victim or something. Who knows?
Yeah, the first series, which I talked about on the show, I quite enjoyed, but it got all this acclaim, the first series, and I read it and I thought it was good and well done, but I kind of was like, my reaction was that, oh, so this is basically just Dexter, but with animals, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's brutal nonetheless. Like some of the gory scenes that have, obviously, like you said, that's depicted in this. The first series was like that too.
Well, I think by using animals, they can kind of beat the censors or something.
Yeah.
Because they have this duck smoking. Like one time you see her exhaling, and the ducks have the bill, but the smoke is coming from the top of her bill because she's like blowing it out of her nose. I thought that was freaking hilarious. But yeah, otherwise, I thought it was a great comic. I'd give it a 4. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Fuck. I fucked up. I wanted to read this in time for the show. I forgot all about it. I'm looking forward to it. Needless to say. So you think you'll read the next one? You're on for this miniseries?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely read this stuff.
I think the last one was like 5 or 6 issues. So I'm just thinking this is like another continuing chapter, essentially. Yeah, this bear here is the bear that's from the first one. It looks like that's the same.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he's that bear or she is. Maybe we're revealing a different serial killer that's in the town. Who knows?
Yeah. So basically, from what I remember, like it was revealed that they tried to pin the murders on her, and then she flipped it, and there was a person trying to frame her, but also killing people. So she reversed it and made it look like she was the killer. And then basically he kind of got taken down, and she
she kind of escaped her.
Exactly. So this may be her coming back. I don't know, but I'll have to. Yeah, it sounds like it. So I'll look forward to reading that one. Next up, I got Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All, and this is one of those big Treasury size issues. So if you guys don't like this type of size of comic, I wouldn't bother picking this one up. Maybe they'll collect it in like a paperback or something at some point. This is written by Dan Jurgens, who's written a lot of Superman, especially in the 90s. And then Bruno Redondo, who, previous artist of Nightwing, who I'm a huge fan of. And I guess they brought this out this week because the new Superman movie came out. I was mentioning to Chris earlier, I had seen it. I really enjoyed it. Not that this is representative of the movie, but I guess because of the whole summer of Superman and maybe because of the release this week, they want to put out some special Superman comics. They certainly haven't done any new Treasuries in some time, although they have been reprinting the old Treasury size comics lately. And this is just your, a basic classic Superman story, essentially, I would say. It's one of those ones where, the whole title is Hero for All. So the Gotham Metropolis basically comes together, and as well as his hero friends, to basically, help him out when he kind of has to leave Earth for a period of time in this issue to kind of take care of some business. And then it kind of shows them all kind of helping them out in Metropolis, deal with some issues that they're having. The city's getting attacked. And then by the end of it, you figure out who the one who was orchestrating all this, and kind of how it all kind of came together towards the end. Of course, there's appearances by all the classic kind of Superman people you would expect to be in it. Lois, Luthor. His son is also in this, but this is previous to him growing up. This is him when he's kind of still a younger kid, Jonathan, which I think the last time that Dan Jurgens was writing that character, I believe he was maybe this age. They also did like the Super Sons period where he's really young. I don't know. He's not like Superman as of yet in this, like he is in that Superman Son of Kal-El or whatever the hell that series was called that Tom Taylor wrote. This seems to be taking place before that. And then, yeah, it basically just has like a lot of Justice League kind of moments coming to the rescue and helping them out in Metropolis. And you see Wonder Woman, you see Batman, you see the rest of the team. And honestly, I would say the big highlight for me was the Bruno Redondo art. There are some great spreads in this issue. If you're a fan of Bruno Redondo like I am, I think it's worth picking up in this format just because of that, because you get big images in this format. And it's like a 60-page story. It's not like a small like 20-page thing. It's like a meaty issue. So not bad. I liked it. I mean, I'd only probably give it a 3.75, but I mean, if we're giving it on art alone, I'd probably even bump that up to a 4. But I think the story was just like a basic classic kind of Superman story. I do want to show off one specific image though. I thought that was great this week in this. Hold on, I'm just flipping past here. You got some old classic art. Dan Jurgens drew some stuff here. Reminds me of the 90s kind of Death of Superman era, and they kind of do like a whole retrospective of a bunch of that kind of stuff that happened to him. Reminds you what makes the character kind of good and all the cool moments he's had, I guess, in his history. Right here. I mean, just great stuff. Again, he's just really good, and I hope that this must have taken him a while to draw because, like I said, it's like 60 pages or whatever. So I hope that we get to see him on some regular interiors again soon. I don't remember what the last thing I think I saw him on was. I think he was doing Superman with a little bit, wasn't he? Or
I thought so, yeah.
I think he did some issues with Joshua Williamson. Maybe then he went off the right to draw this. But anyways, yeah, 3.75, maybe even a 4. It was good. Next up, Gotham City Sirens Unfit for Orbit #2, Chris.
It's better than the last Gotham City Sirens that we touched on that last time, and it's still not great though. I'll say that much. I think the art is better, or the art's decent. And the story here, I don't know who this Desperado or Desparo is, the big bad, and
Despero,
and he kind of enslaves them all, and that nightclub they're in turns into some sort of rocket ship, and then they're trying to protect this kid, like the conduit or something. I don't know. It's okay. It's a fun read. I'll take it for what it is. I'm glad I'm not buying it though.
Desperado was Antonio Banderas with the guitar.
I think he's gonna have him bring out a guitar and freaking shoot a missile out of it.
Yeah, and if you showed up in this, that would have made it that much better.
Yeah, the mariachi band in the back playing.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to what you said. I still think it's better than the last one, but not by much. And even from issue to issue, I like this issue less than the first one. First one showed a little bit of promise because I went in with low expectations. And then this came out and I was just like, oh, yeah, this is still not that great. I agree. The art is better.
Meeting those low expectations.
Yeah, the art is better. I agree, though. But yeah, that's about it. That's the main thing I'll say. Story's maybe a tad bit more entertaining so far, but overall, still not great. This will be over in a couple more weeks because it's a weekly event thing. Anyways, what'd you give this?
3.25.
Yeah, same. Next up, we got I think this was the conclusion of Doctor Strange of Asgard #5.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess in this one here, these characters, I don't know who the hell is who here. So and there seems to be, you need to really know who's who because they're talking about all these characters, and I gotta know what his apprentice's name was. Is that the one that turns on him or something?
No, I'm with you 100%. When they started naming the guys, I was just like, okay, this Asgardian that showed up, I feel like once. I don't even think it was his apprentice. I think it was like one of the other random Asgardians that they
that might have been in there. Yeah, well, the whole mystery is sort of revealed.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But I guess the big deal was that there is that Gardasil, I don't know how to freaking call that, the Vagisil, whatever his name is, the tree there.
Yeah, good
the tree of life.
Yeah.
And the tree of life there, I guess it can decide who the Sorcerer Supreme is, and all this what's been going on in all these issues is a test for Doctor Strange, and he seems to pass the test, so he does get the title of the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. And his plan is to, take that back down to Earth and try and fight Doom. But then at the end, you find out that Thor died. No surprise to me. And he seems to be trapped now in Asgard because the pathway home is closed.
Oh, you know what, Chris? I think this was his apprentice. You're right. Yeah, sorry. I was just looking at the art here. It was to him and somebody else, though. He had other people help. There was revealed another person assisted him in pulling this off. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they explain how it all works. And
yeah,
I'm not sure I quite understand, but it was good enough. And
yeah,
it all comes together, I guess, and they're doing a Legacy 450 of Doctor Strange. So, yeah, it worked out okay. He becomes Sorcerer Supreme, and it's leading somewhere, so nothing bad.
I like this miniseries overall, but I think what Chris pointed out was my main issue with this issue was that it didn't really hold too much weight, the reveal of whoever was behind this. And since this was a kind of murder mystery throughout this whole miniseries, the actual reveal here at the end didn't really hold a lot of weight for me. I was just like, okay, whatever. It's, maybe that's on us. We didn't realize who
they seem like these are all new characters, just made up for this story.
That's, to be fair, that is the case. Yeah. So, but otherwise, though, I did enjoy it. I thought it was well written. I thought it was a tie-in that's kind of like adjacent to the One World Under Doom because they literally had nothing to do with the actual event. And then at the end here, they even said like, "Oh yeah, now it's time for me to go handle Doom now." Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, there you go. And they're trying to bring it back. And then I guess that's gonna maybe you'll see more of that in issue 450 or whatever. I'll read that. I like Doctor Doom as a character, so for me, this wasn't that bad of a miniseries. It was that, I don't think it's the best one that came out of One World Under Doom so far, but it's like in the running for like one of the better ones, in my opinion. So, yeah. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.75, and I give the series a whole a 3.75. I thought it was a fun series to read.
Same. Yeah, I liked it. Next up, Chris, you got Supergirl number 3.
Yeah, I don't know why I read this. I'm definitely not the target audience. This is made for, I don't know, teenage girls or little girls or something like that. The art is, I don't even know why they have Art Germ freaking doing the covers for these. It seems just so inappropriate, but they better be paying him a lot because I think he's selling more issues than the actual story or whoever's writing this is selling them or is getting them. I'm sure it's most people just collecting Art Germ covers rather than the new fans they want to get for this. But the story, it's okay. With that Supergirl and some other girl from Kandahar, whatever, she escapes the bottle and she tries to kind of impersonate Supergirl, and they don't even battle it out. They talk it out. They find out all she needs was a friend, and then she becomes her friend at the end.
Yay.
Then the big reveal is that her parents show up. To be continued.
Oh
my!
There you go.
Yeah.
I think you answered your own question. You're like, I don't know why they're putting the Art Germ covers on this series because it doesn't fit the tone. I think that's why, so they could sell more books based off of the covers, right? I think that's but you're right. If the tone is nothing like the covers that they're trying to sell, like putting a sexy cover artist on this, it's kind of, that's kind of an odd choice for sure. What would you give this?
Yeah, that's 3.5.
Okay. Next up, you got Uncanny X-Men 17.
Yeah, well, it's good they put these both together because they're both targeting the same people, I guess. I don't know. Like this cover got me going. Oh, that's a nice cover there. It looks like some freaking psychotic character they're introducing.
Looks like a horror movie.
Well, that's what it is. It is a movie. And the kids sneak out to go to this movie.
Yeah.
And then they get in trouble for sneaking out. And then it turns out, and then there's a lot of dialogue about how a mutant horror movie, paints the mutants in a bad light, and that's why everybody hates the mutants. And then they have cut the scenes with Scott out in Alaska. Oh, we try so hard, and something like this comes out, and you got Rogue and whatever. They touch with Kitty Pryde in Chicago, saying, oh yeah, this is this can't be good for us. This movie's going to be so popular and everybody's going to hate us. And then I guess there's a movie premiere in wherever near Louisiana. And then two of those kids decide to go to confront this star because she's going to be appearing, try and tell her that, what she's doing is wrong or she shouldn't be doing this. And then it turns out that whoever's starring that movie playing that Mutina character, she does have a real dislike for mutants and hates them, and I don't know, somehow she overpowers those two, but then as she's about to kind of get them, all the, you know, the team of the mutants or whatever, the X-Men show up, and they're like, oh, how did you find us? And it's, I think Gambit still has that one of the eyes of Agamotto or something. It's some magical eye on his chest, and you know, the eye winks or something like that. And then they all sort of, you know, they talk to her and say, hey, you should be doing this sort of stuff. And she's like, oh, you know, we're already signed for a sequel, and it's just going to get worse from here. And then they all take off, and Wolverine stays behind, and he flashes his claws at her and says, oh, if you want to see a slasher, you better watch out. It's like, are you serious?
Lame.
Brutal.
So
like,
fucking lame.
The character looks like it's freaking, you know, it could be something, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you know, I got me kind of excited in there. Okay, we got something going on here. And you open it up, yeah, here you have a big pile of nothing. Brutal.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Yeah. 3.
All right. Next up, we got Red Hulk #6. This has still been a lot of fun. When I was talking about earlier with Doctor Strange of Asgard, there's another fun tie-in comic that they've been doing, which at this point I can only assume is probably just going to go for 10 issues because of their new mandate of not putting anything past 5 or 10 issues if it's not selling well. And like this whole story has taken place during One World Under Doom and is kind of a direct kind of like is directly affecting with the events of it as a result of Thunderbolt Ross kind of being in captivity by Dr. Doom along with Deathlock and Machine Man. And you know what? This is a good Ben Percy in this story so far. And with Jeff Shaw and art, who's a good artist that used to work a lot with Donny Cates when he was still doing stuff. I think this is a fun book. I love these characters. I like seeing Deathlock and Machine Man together. And this one, basically, after they were on the run, Machine Man got destroyed somewhat last issue. So Deathlock basically has to go and scavenge his body, basically, and find it and put him back together and help him. So that was a lot of fun. And then you got, again, now that he's actually got out of the prison that he was in, he was able to transform into the Red Hulk finally. But then he gets locked up again here. Something happens to him. So in this issue, again, he's trying to escape, and you see what he has to deal with, and he's struggling now. And, you know, the army took him last, I think, issue. They took him down after he escaped. And so they're all separated now. This is just kind of like a fun romp. And like I said, it's fun. It's well written, and the art's good. So what more can you ask for in one of these like little, events type tie-in series? I think this is good, honestly. I think Percy's got a good one with this, but if this goes more than whatever the 10 issues, I don't know. Unless you're a big Red Hulk fan, I don't know what the point of continuing with this one would be. But for now, I'm in for the duration of this story, so we'll see what happens. I give this 3.75. I really like this series. And then next up, you got Farmhand 23. This is one of those ones where like it's got a couple issues to go, and I don't really have much to say because it's so far along and it was on hiatus for a couple years. And I'm basically just talking about it because I read it on the show. But this is one of those things where there's not much to say. It's been so long since it went on hiatus for, I don't have too much recollection of what happened before, other than the fact they're taking down the final bad person that was in this story, the antagonist of this story. That's kind of what it's been leading up to, even prior to the conclusion, like the hiatus for the couple of years that they've had. I like Rob Guillory's cartooning, and that's kind of why I'm just supporting by picking up these last couple of issues. But I think it's got about, I think 26 is the last issue. This was all right. I give this a 3.5 out of 5. But I would say that this is one of those ones that will read better as a whole once it's actually collected. All right, Chris, Absolute Superman #9.
This is one of the first books I read there, and I might have to see some of the panels here to jog the memory. But from what I remember, it was an okay story. It's a okay comic. I've been enjoying this thing here. Is there some stuff with Ra's al Ghul in here, I think, or no?
Yeah, with Lois and Ra's al Ghul. Lois.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he kind of puts the kibosh on her or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is
And then the Superman's joining or decides to join those Omega Men.
yeah, and they kind of reveal in this issue that it's not a mother box, it's a father box, like the New
Yeah.
Gods kind of device, which is normally a mother box, but I guess in the absolute world, or at least the device they show you in this issue, they call it a father box. And but yeah, it's a lot of people in captivity type of issue, essentially, right? Like like she's kind of he's putting the screws to her and interrogating her, and there's this whole thing with like Jimmy Olsen's been kind of she connects back with him by the end of this issue, and basically Superman, they're trying to like he looks like he's in a tough bind, and he works his way out of that by fucking up a whole bunch of people. So this series has really taken a turn. I think this issue I didn't like as much as the previous couple of issues leading into this. That being said, this is like one of those ones where it's just moving the story along a little bit.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, I do think it's going places.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think, and even like the stuff like you're actually seeing him exhibit like and use his powers here. You know what I mean? So like we were waiting for that. I feel like for the first like most of the first arc, and like now you're actually seeing him in action quite a bit. And it's obviously about this whole them versus whatever this totalitarian government type of deal is in the future or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those type of things.
Group or something, and then
they're
like who's out there really trying to get the Peacemaker still, right?
Yes, and they're like almost like, well, Jimmy Olsen was part of the Peacemakers, but now he's basically helping him out sort of here. And there's this whole thing about like they're basically like freedom fighter type of guys, essentially. Yeah. So so everything's kind of really coming together here at this point, and I think it's going places, like you said. And this Ra's al Ghul character in this pretty badass, this guy. So
I'm looking forward to see more of him.
Yeah. Oh, and also in this issue, Joker is referenced, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They mention him at one point where they say that like there's this guy that's like they reference basically the Joker in this, which is just funny because like it's almost like now the Absolute books are kind of like talking to each other a little bit. They're kind of swapping some of the characters around, and they're mentioning other characters that you think would be in the opposite book, right?
Well, so they should. Like, it's just so hard to see how all these kind of comics or all these Absolute comics are living in the same world.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what'd you give this?
I got a 3.75.
Same. Yep. Next up, we got Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman #2.
Yeah. So if you compare this to say that Supergirl, like this seems to be another comic, maybe geared towards a newer type audience, but this is a fun story all around. Like there's nothing wrong with this. I like the way they sort of joke around. I like how those three versions of whatever Trinity or Lizzie kind of don't get along, and they're antagonizing each other, and the youngest one seems to be oblivious to everything. And then the story they have with the Robin or whatever, it was good stuff. Like when she was like just can't stop laughing when he kind of introduces himself, and he's trying to be all big shotty and all that sort of stuff. And then when they're it goes to the Batcave, and you can kind of see that he's a young guy or whatever, a teenager, and kind of doing stuff that Batman shouldn't know about. He ends up taking the motorcycle. He's using the Bat computer, and she's like, "Oh, Batman lets you do all this stuff." He's like, "Oh, no, absolutely not." And they find the dog at the end, and it was okay. It was a fun story. I got no complaints about this, and I thought the art's great too.
I agree with you. The art's great. Yeah, Balin Ortega, who I think she drew the backups as well in Wonder Woman that he was doing of these characters for the most part. I think you hit the nail on the head with what you said in comparison to Supergirl. Although I haven't read that, I would say that I read the first issue, and I would assume it's more of the same. He's not dumbing it down. Like Tom King is writing a enjoyable all ages title here in this book. And he's like you said, he's got a good artist with him doing it, and like he's not dumbing it down, and the tone's great, and it's fun, and it's all the things it should be for this type of title. And I think if you are, it's actually different for Tom King as well. Like, I know he was doing this a little bit in the short stories in Wonder Woman, but I would say this is even better than those because they were short stories. He kind of had to do like a little bit more cheesier kind of like little like, like, you know, stories. Whereas here you actually have an ongoing story with multiple versions of the character. And it's a lot of fun. I agree. I didn't read the first one, but now I might actually go back and check that out because I know you had read it in time for the show. I missed out on it, so not bad. I'm you know, if I was buying this, I wouldn't be upset, to be honest with you.
So I regret not buying it almost.
Yeah. You know, depending on where he's going with Wonder Woman, I might be liking this book soon more than that. I don't know about this new arc, but anyways, what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75. Yeah. Almost pushing a 4, but no.
Hey, I agree. Almost a 4. Next up, we got Transformers 22.
Oh, here, I can show you this comic. There. It's one of the ones I got.
There you go.
Hey, I do buy him, you know. I just can't get them. But yeah, this good stuff in here again, you know. Especially knowing kind of that what is issue 25 is going to be the last one before kind of a new.
No, I think it's 24. I think it's
24, even better. Well, not even better, but
yeah,
you know, you can kind of come see this arc coming to it. Then you kind of see all the, like I say, all the players are being sort of pushed on the board now, and I think that Ultra Megas, whatever his name is, the other robot truck, he's been freed from his imprisonment, and you kind of get a better sense of what's going on in the world. It looks like, you know, like the whole West Coast, everybody's sort of evacuating towards Chicago. I didn't think it was such a big event going on there. I thought these are all sort of like isolated events there, but you know, it looks like the Megatron and Starscream, you know, they seem stomping out the armies, and you know, and then whatever those Transformers or the Autobots are still down on their luck. And, you know, I wasn't a big fan of, you know, the Cybertron stuff, but it looks like there's going to be a new player on the board where Cliff Jumper kind of pulls a fast one on that Alita one, and just says, you know, okay, you can go back and, you know, do what you got to do, and then you know, this new, forget what his name is, but this new Autobot is supposed to be a badass, kick-ass type of Autobot, and he kind of pulls a fast one on him and sends him through the portal. You know, it's a one-way trip and only one-time trip, so there's gonna be some fallout on Cybertron. You know, kind of see how that's gonna play out, and get ready for battle on Earth and see what's happening. You know, Prime's sort of out of commission, and the Spark sort of join that power matrix and Prime together for something, and he ends up in the Hall of Primes, and I guess he's going to learn something down there when he's there. Who knows?
How about this whole thing with the human? He opens the portal essentially to, like, for the first time, like he combines, like, humans have never been able to basically do what he ends up doing, this kid, where he puts his hand inside the
it almost acts as a like some sort of connection between
conduit or something,
power matrix and Prime, because suppose he was disconnected from the matrix because he had all that, whatever, the Megatron virus running through him when he put on his arm.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, the whole thing about his arm getting affected and infected and like having that virus and stuff like that, I thought was like really interesting stuff. Actually, I didn't expect that from this Transformers comic, but the last couple of issues have been really good. So yeah, I like you said, I think the fact that it's ending in a couple of issues makes sense for his run, anyways. Daniel Warren. Yeah. So
you know, with the news that it's going to be Kirkman and
Mora.
And who is it again?
Mora.
Mora, yeah. Looking forward to that too. So
yeah, good stuff. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 4. I liked it.
I was about to say, after talking about it, I think I'll also give it a 4 out of 5. It was good. Yeah. And then finally, we got Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #2. I got the Sanford Green variant here, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I do like his stuff. I think this is the last issue I've pre-ordered of this, though, otherwise. But that's the best thing about this comic. It's the cover here. What do you think?
Maybe if you're reading, the thing is, if you're reading all these Ultimate books, it's no good. I think this is to try and get people that aren't reading the Ultimate books to kind of see what's going on. Because I'm not, like, basically, I'm only reading Spider-Man and the Ultimates.
Yeah.
And this one kind of, brings in the Black Panther's world. It gets me, piques my interest in what's going on there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And then at the end, I guess he's still trying to find his sister, and they have the battle with the Wakandans. And, I do like the way they have Black Panther there, where, they're trying to shuffle him off to like a safe place. He's like, look, I'm the king here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go, meet this force head on. We've been, in the way they have the Ultimates portrayed as terrorists and things like that. But it was okay. It was good stuff. And then, at the end where I guess there's a spy in the Wakandans that's working, I guess, for the Maker or or Nick Fury, it seems, he works for the Maker, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to steal this baby. I don't know how this baby becomes the key to the future somehow. And then you have the Silver Samurai show up and then steal the baby. So at least it's something, I guess, but it's not something I'm very interested in, though.
Yeah, and I think that's the main reason why I bag on it, is that I'm not as interested in it. But to your point, I do agree there was some interesting kind of like moments in here. Like the Silver Samurai showing up at the end was really fucking cool. I thought that was really neat. And like you said, like there is some interesting moments and snapshots of certain stuff happening within the Ultimate Universe. But the problem is, it's so obvious that this story is of no importance. You're basically just seeing these characters through.
Yeah, just see what they're up to.
Miles is just a visitor right here in this world now, and we're basically just showing you around. They're using him to show you around the Ultimate Universe. And like ultimately, and no pun intended there, I don't think it's going to actually have major ramifications on the series, to be honest with you, this story. So the fact that this is almost like a crossover of sorts, I feel like is wasted on this story. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But
I don't know like if the timeline's set up, but if this is when this ends, if that matches up to the time the Maker comes out, maybe this is going to be the end of this, and then when the reboot, they might reboot all the stories again, or at least reboot the numbers.
Maybe, because it does.
It'll be a new world once the Maker kind of comes free.
Maybe.
Or gets defeated, who knows? And
it also is very telling that if Miles is coming back, since he was there at the end of the first Ultimate Universe, like the destruction of it, it actually makes sense in that sense, too, that they would bring him back for possibly the end of this Ultimate Universe, because he survived the first roundabout here and made it over to the 616. Him and the Maker were the only two characters, actually, that made it out of the old version of the Ultimate Universe. So yeah, listen, as much as I want to say like Miles, really, it's weird that he's coming into this story. In a way, it makes a bit of sense in terms of continuity that he would be one of the people that travels back. It's not like all of the other characters from the Marvel Universe are here right now, right? Yeah. So, I guess we'll see, but it's okay. Maybe I take back what I bashed it. It's just, like you said, I'm just overly not as interested in this. You know what the other thing that bugged me about this, though, I got to say? Again, they fucking bring up this whole Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne thing where he's like giving him a side eye in the car. I'm like, okay, man, like enough of this. Like we all know what he did, the character.
Yeah, it's very revealed that they're spies.
No,
but there was a bit of a Hank Pym origin story. Then what are you putting his origin story in the middle of this issue for?
But this isn't this character, and they had to prove that in this issue by telling you how much like he loves his wife in this, and how you fight. Well, we know as the readers that she's two-timing him and is working for the Maker or whatever. We found out, right? But in the original continuity, he was abusive to his wife or whatever. So like the fact that they keep kind of referencing that bugs me, because I'm like, let this version of the character live, man. This is not the same character. No, but it's true. This is not the same version of that character. But and then they showed you that in this issue, but it's like, again, it's just like, that's such an easy layup of like, this version's different, and look, the wife's the one that's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? I was just like, really? Like, so I don't know. I just thought that was cheap. It's a cheap, easy fucking thing to do, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Get the fuck out of here with that. I got some gripes today, Chris. Apparently, I'm like, I've complained about like 3 books. I'm like,
Who's making you cranky?
Oh man. Okay. What'd you give this?
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. I'm gonna call them gripes, not whines. Okay. All right. That's going to do it for me whining about this week's books. Chris, anything else, or did you want to get into what you're looking forward to?
I did read Superior Avengers. I don't know why. I think I got mixed up with the New Avengers or something.
Okay.
That's crazy, that story.
That's fine.
Whoever the Superior Avengers are,
Yeah.
they've all been kind of plucked from different timelines. And supposedly they're trying to gather some magic to help their own previous worlds. And they're going to end up destroying the 616 to get their magic to save their own world. And I don't know.
Yeah.
And
That's why I jumped off. I read a couple of issues and I was
like, who are these people? I don't know.
Yeah.
Garbage.
But what are you reading for next week, which is the 16th, July 16th?
Let's see here.
Oh, this is a 5-week month, it looks like, too, this month. I didn't realize. For comics.
Let's see. So for Marvel. Oh, yeah. Just when we're talking about this, I thought we talked about a lot more different comics that were coming out this week that never came out.
You reminded me.
Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell. Like, I was looking through the ones that came out. And then I remember, we talking a couple of days ago, I was looking forward to all these other ones. There were so many. Like, it wasn't just one or two. There was a bunch.
It's mostly all Marvel books. There was like 4 or 5 that we talked about that were coming out, and you know why this is? Now that Diamond has stopped, like they're basically done.
Yeah.
The shipping lists a lot of the time that we look at are based off of Diamond shipping lists. So I think they shifted a bunch of books to another date. And even me this week at my LCS, like last week, I was like, "Where's Daredevil Cold Day in Hell? Where's my copy?" I'm like, "What the hell's going on here?" He's like, "It comes out doesn't come out this week." You fucking idiot! I was like, "Oh."
Well, that's why I didn't get any of my comics, because I guess my guy's going through Diamond, and they just dropped Marvel. Like, no.
Yes.
Like, just out of the blue. It's like, no more.
That's gonna be probably.
And then so I didn't get any Marvel comics. I don't know what's gonna happen to the ones I pre-ordered. Yeah. And I think I still had a couple back issues that I was kind of trying to get. Like, I still haven't got the Spider-Man one with the Carrie Andrews cover. I think that's going to be lost in the ether, which I don't mind so much, but it's still a sick cover.
Yeah.
And at least, this week, it wasn't a big week, and there wasn't really anything here I wanted. It was really mostly that Marvel swimsuit issue. And then when I did get a chance to read it, if that slides, I'm not too down on that. But once these J. Scott Campbell covers start coming out, they better, hopefully my LCS is back in line by then.
I would hope and assume so, because Marvel is like, I'm sure a big part of like whatever you.
Well, yeah, even while I'm there trying to pick stuff up. Some of the worst is, I talked about, this other guy's not showing up. The other guy shows up, it's a fucking little kid.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Billy. There's no comics for you this week. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, I gotta go.
Yeah, this fucking asshole customer stiffing me on his whole list.
Oh man, alive!
All his allowance music, his whole allowance.
Oh man, go buy some candy. Got extra candy money today. Oh, jeez Louise. But anyway, that's a side story.
That's the best moment probably for you when that went down, eh? You're like putting things in perspective. You're like, "Whoa, I gotta get out of here."
Yeah, I don't be buying comics here. I know what's going on. Usually I'm the only person in the store, so I don't feel bad. I want to see what the other customers look like. One of the guys talks to me. I'm probably the only guy that's his age. Probably older than him.
This is a raid. Go, boy.
Are you in the conduit? You're free. But anyways, okay. The stuff I'm looking forward to next week to read: Marvel Imperial 2, The Predator vs. Spider-Man 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and read the New Avengers. That's what I thought I was reading when I had the Superior Avengers.
Yes. Yeah.
There's Marvel Knights World to Come. See what's happening there. I don't know about this giant size. Or they'll bring on the bad guys. I'll see. Maybe it'll continue that story, but if it's just another kind of Abomination story, that won't be too much fun with.
No.
And what's this X-Men Age of Revelation? We got to talk about that afterwards. There's a ton of new comics coming out with that.
I don't know.
Not much for Marvel. Let's see what Image has got. I think I might have Battle Beast 3. That's been fun to read.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe 9. Phantom Road. And what's the one that are we reading? This ends tonight, or is it called something else?
What's it called?
Okay, it's not that one.
No, I don't think so.
What's the one that I haven't been reading?
Whatever. We're taking everyone down.
We're taking one down with us. That's what. I got to get better titles.
Yeah.
I think I got Witchblade 12 coming. There might be an art germ cover there.
Ooh.
And that might be it. Have you read any of this Genna Naked Aggression?
No, but the covers piqued my interest, and I looked inside of it. It was okay, but I didn't end up reading it. But like, it's getting a lot of buzz this week. It looks good. I don't know.
Yeah, because when I was at my LCS, the guy's trying to push those on me.
I don't know. The art wasn't as good as the covers. I'll say that. The art was not bad, but I did a flip through and I didn't pick it up, but I looked at it. Yeah.
And then for DC, we got Absolute Batman. Maybe I'll try to read Absolute Flash. Maybe I'll read Detective Comics. I did get 1100, and this is a 1099. World's Finest, Wonder Woman 23. I'll read Superman Unlimited, and I'll read the Gotham City Sirens. That might be it for me.
Decent size week then, yeah. Yeah, so this is, I guess we should start saying this. This is pending any changes in the shipping list, but right now, according to these shipping lists, I even pulled up a different one to try to be a little bit more accurate here, because that other one I had, which was on previews, is not accurate because Diamond is pretty much toast. Absolute Batman 10, I'm picking up. Absolute Flash, number 5, I'm picking up. Batman and Robin Year 1, I might read. Number 9, Batman and Superman World's Finest 41, I'll be picking up. Detective Comics, like you said, 10.99, I'll be getting that. Gotham City Sirens, I'll read. Some things I'm reading digitally, some things I'm picking up. You might see some sales go up for Crypto, the Last Dog, or Krypton number 2. I mean, I'm not reading it, but he was a big part of the new Superman movie. So for anybody that liked the movie and maybe missed out on this, I did want to just give that a shout out, because you might enjoy checking that out. And that's also by Tim Steele, I believe. So he's been getting he's been writing a lot of stuff lately, I feel like. Robin and Batman Jason Todd number 2 comes out next week.
I'll read that. That's good.
Jeff Lemire one. That was a really good first issue. Superman Unlimited. Yeah, big DC week. Wonder Woman 23. And that's about it for DC. Okay, moving over to Image. IDW, do I have anything? Oh, Ninja Turtles 10 comes out, so I'll be reading that. Let's see here. G.I. Joe number 9, I'll be picking up. Yeah, decent sized week here. Battle Beast number 3, I'll be grabbing. Phantom Road 14, as you mentioned. A lot of stuff you talked about here. And that might be about it for Image for me. And then Marvel. Maybe the Bring on the Bad Guys, like you said, depends. I'll take a quick look at it. Deadpool Wolverine, maybe. I really like the artist on that, and now that artist is gone, so I don't know if I'm as invested. Death of Silver Surfer, probably not, because this seems to be a bigger week. The first issue was just okay. Oh, Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe number 1. I'll definitely be checking that out. Jerry Duggan's writing that, of Cockshoe fame, so I hope that's pretty good. Imperial number 2. That's all I'm attributing to Jerry Duggan. that series. Marvel Knights, The World to Come number 2. Basically, a lot of the books we talked about coming out this week or coming out next week. New Avengers 2. No Daredevil End of Days, though, or whatever it's called. Cold Day in Hell. Sorry, End of Days, I think, was another series that he did one time. And I think that's about it. So yeah, some good stuff. Bigger week. Oh yeah, Predator versus Spider-Man, I might read. You're still reading. Yeah, it's the last issue, so might as well.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Chris. That's gonna do it for what we're looking forward to reading next week. What was your favorite book this week, Chris?
No, this week wasn't a very strong week.
No, I agree with you.
So I might just have to give to the book I got. Transformers. It's the only one I had.
Yeah. You know what? You took the words right out of my mouth. Pretty mediocre week. Not a lot of standouts. I mean, I wish I read Beneath the Trees because that might have won if I liked it. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Fantastic Four #1. I thought it was a solid issue.
Yeah.
I think I was the most pleased with like that issue, I would say, this week. It just was like pitch perfect, really good singular Fantastic Four issue. It had Humberto Ramos now on art in this one. So yeah, I'll give it to him. It'd probably be between that or the Superman Treasury with Redondo on art, but I think that the story was much more interesting in the Fantastic Four issue than that. So I'll give it
Yeah, the only thing I like about the Fantastic Four, it was just more of the same. Like, not that's been bad,
yeah.
but it's not like the tone of the comic changed. Nothing changed. It's
No,
just another kind of sci-fi romp, and now they're all separated and they're all going to come back together somehow. Which was sort of what's been going on in the original series.
no,
Like,
you're right.
Get some wacky sciencey stuff, and they kind of use science their way out of it, which is fun to read. It's different, and meh.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it wasn't like a standout in that sense, but I think in a week such as this, and it has been consistently a good run. I'll give the nod to that. Yeah. I'm doing it all for hype, Chris, because the new movie's coming out. it needs all the people checking it out.
This movie's got to be good.
I know. I mean, this is a year of like movies that must hit in terms of superhero films, coming off of a bad couple of years, or let's say less than normal in terms of like how good the previous years have been for them. You got the Fantastic Four, and then you had Superman that came out this week. So, I mean, Superman, I think they already said like it did all kinds of great numbers over the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's deemed successful. I think they're already talking about what's coming next out of the new.
Yeah, they can kind of go ahead with the plans they've had. It's not like we gotta sit back and rethink things again.
Right. But just like James Gunn had a lot of writing on that debut for his DC stuff, this movie needs to basically like highlight the year for Marvel films, because Captain America Brave New World wasn't that great in my opinion. Thunderbolts was good, actually. I liked Thunderbolts, but again, not a lot of big characters in that. So
yeah, it's not a tentpole movie as they like to call it. This has to be the center tentpole.
Exactly. This has to prop up the basically the next year years moving forward for them. So, this is a big, Fantastic Four are a big part of the Marvel universe. So yeah, so we'll see. All right, guys.
Before.
What's that?
I said they've had bad luck with them before.
Well, very much so. But this is the first Marvel Studios one that they've done. The other ones were Fox. So
yeah,
let's hope. So, all right, guys. But more from us next week as we get into another week of comics. And thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Later, Chris.
All right. See you later.
Later.